session at Tony Rust, normal layout.
This is where champions are made, and the stakes couldn't be higher.
Ruben du Plessis is on their out lap. It looks like Jano van der Westhuizen is getting ready to make their move. They're taking their time to warm up those tires and get everything just right. It's all about strategy in these early moments. Emir Rylands is taking their time to prepare for their qualifying run and get everything just right.
They will want to get a good gap established for their first flying lap.
Emir Rylands crosses the start-finish line at the end of their outlap. You can feel the tension building. Mike Ramsey is out on track and getting ready to push for their qualifying time.
These are the moments that really matter. Let's see if Mike Ramsey can deliver.
The adrenaline is pumping. Ruben du Plessis is on their out lap, warming up the tires and getting ready to put in a fast lap time. That's the outlap done for Ruben du Plessis. They'll now look to focus on their first flying lap. This is where the mental game comes into play. Sean Weber is taking their time to prepare for their qualifying run.
It's all about finding that balance between staying calm and focused, while also pushing the limits.
Wow, look at Ernest Heather go. They're really turning on the jets in this qualifying session. Ryan Ludick is on their first flying lap. Ryan Ludick has just completed that lap in 109.320. Their best lap so far is 109.320, putting them in P5. Will they be able to hold onto that spot? There are just over 10 minutes left in this qualification session. Woohoo! Dylan Visagi is really turning up the heat out there. I'm getting goosebumps just watching them go. Ryan Ludick is not as quick as they were hoping for. They're going to need to dig deep and find some extra pace on this next one if they want to move up the grid.
Well, Mark, they'll need to find those extra tenths of a second by pushing just a little bit harder on the braking and carrying more speed through the corners.
Looks like Jano van der Westhuizen is channeling their inner Schumacher today. They're absolutely flying out there.
I think we might need to start calling Jano van der Westhuizen the Flash.
Jano van der Westhuizen has some work to do, as that 109.397 is only good enough for 8th. Michel Rust looks to be off the pace. Annie, what do you think they need to do to improve? Michel Rust will be happy having put themselves into 3rd in this qualifying session.
Every fraction of a second counts. I'm sure they can find a little extra in there.
Mark Guy is not as quick as they were hoping for. They're going to need to dig deep and find some extra pace on this next one if they want to move up the grid.
That's right, it's all or nothing now. They need to stay focused, hit their marks, and extract every ounce of performance from that car to move up the grid.
Chantal de Jager looks to be off the pace. Annie, what do you think they need to do to improve? I don't know about you, but I think Amir Rylands might have a secret rocket booster hidden in their car. They're just that fast.
Looks like Amir Rylands is really cooking with gas out there today.
Time to bring out the marshmallows and let's toast some fuel. Sean Olivier is not as quick as they were hoping for. They're going to need to dig deep and find some extra pace on this next one if they want to move up the grid.
Well, Mark, they'll need to find those extra tenths of a second by pushing just a little bit harder on the braking and carrying more speed through the corners.
JJ Dearden looks to be off the pace. Annie, what do you think they need to do to improve? Michel Rust is not as quick as they were hoping for. They're going to need to dig deep and find some extra pace on this next one if they want to move up the grid. There are just over 5 minutes left in this qualification session. Sean Olivier looks to be off the pace. Annie, what do you think they need to do to improve?
They'll need to put together a perfect lap, hitting every apex and pushing the car to the limit without going over it.
Sean Olivier will be happy having put themselves into 1st in this qualifying session.
It may be difficult for them to improve further on that. Sometimes trying too hard makes you slower. They need to drive smooth and smart.
Michel Rust is not as quick as they were hoping for. They're going to need to dig deep and find some extra pace on this next one if they want to move up the grid.
That's right, it's all or nothing now. They need to stay focused, hit their marks, and extract every ounce of performance from that car to move up the grid.
JP Brand looks to be off the pace. Annie, what do you think they need to do to improve? I think I just saw a blur fly by. Oh wait, that's just Sean Olivier going at lightning speed.
Is it just me or does it feel like we're watching a superhero in action here?
Sean Olivier is absolutely smashing it. Mark Guy is not as quick as they were hoping for. They're going to need to dig deep and find some extra pace on this next one if they want to move up the grid. Mark Guy will be happy having put themselves into 4th in this qualifying session. Someone call the fire department because Jano van der Westhuizen is setting this track on fire with their performance. Looks like Melvin Gauss is channeling their inner Schumacher today. They're absolutely flying out there.
It's amazing what a little bit of adrenaline and a lot of horsepower can do, right Mark? Melvin Gauss is just showing us all what they're made of.
William Theron looks to be off the pace. Annie, what do you think they need to do to improve? I don't know about you, but I think Melvin Gauss might have a secret rocket booster hidden in their car. They're just that fast.
I think we might need to start calling Melvin Gauss.
Melvin Gauss has some work to do as the 236.159 is only good enough for 13th. Sean Weber is not as quick as they were hoping for. They're going to need to dig deep and find some extra pace on this next one. Sean Weber has some work to do as that 109.465 is only good enough for 9th. Dylan Visagi looks to be off the pace. Annie, what do you think they need to do to improve?
Well Mark, they'll need to find those extra tenths of a second by pushing just a little bit harder on the braking and carrying more speed through the corners.
Dylan Visagi will be happy having put themselves into 2nd in this qualifying session. Woohoo! JP Brand is really turning up the heat out there. I'm getting goosebumps just watching them go.
Well Mark, it seems like JP Brand has got the need for speed and nothing is going to stop them now.
I think I just saw a blur fly by. Oh wait, that's just Wayne Midden going at lightning speed. Someone call the fire department because Michelle Rust is setting this track on fire with their performance.
Is it just me or does it feel like we're watching a superhero in action here?
Michelle Rust is absolutely smashing it. Michelle Rust will be happy having put themselves into 5th in this qualifying session. Disappointing performance from Chantal de Jager in this qualifying session. Currently in 18th position, they'll need to dig deep and find some extra speed to climb up the leaderboard and secure a better starting position for the race. Incredible drive by Ryan Ludik so far, earning them 7th on the grid. However, the competition is fierce. Will they be able to find that extra edge to move up?
You're spot on, Mark. Ryan Luddick's current position of 7th is a testament to their skills and determination. Now, they face the challenge of maintaining their position against hungry.
Ryan Ludik has some work to do as the 201.233 is only good enough for 7th.
There's still more time to be had, but I don't know if they are going to find it before the session is over.
It hasn't been the best qualifying session for Ruben Duplessis so far. They find themselves in 15th position, which is not where they had hoped to be. However, there's still time left on the clock, and they have the opportunity to make improvements.
I couldn't agree more, Mark. Ruben Duplessis is facing a tough challenge, but they are known for their fighting spirit. This qualifying session is a test of their character, and I believe they have what it takes to overcome this setback.
What an impressive performance from Sean Olivier. They are currently leading the pack in this qualification session, showing incredible pace and skill. It's a commanding position for them, and they have set the bar high for their competitors.
I share your thoughts, Mark. Sean Olivier is currently untouchable with their outstanding performance. They have raised the bar, and their competitors have a tough challenge ahead to catch up.
Not the ideal start for Chantal de Jager in this qualifying session. Currently in 18th position, they'll be eager to put together a strong final lap to improve their standing. The pressure is on, and they'll need to deliver their best performance.
Absolutely, Mark. Chantal de Jager is aware of the current situation, and they'll be looking to make the most of the remaining time. They'll need to analyze their performance, work closely with their team, and find that extra bit of speed to improve their qualifying position.
Jano van der Westhuizen has positioned themselves well in 8th during qualifying. The challenge now is to assess their competitors and strategize how to move up the order for a better race start. A disappointing performance from Melvin Gauss so far in this qualifying session. Finding themselves in 13th position is certainly not what they were aiming for. However, they have the talent and experience to bounce back and salvage a better result. Melvin Gauss has some work to do as the 3:16.20. To convert their pole position into a win.
The pressure's on now. Can he handle the heat and stay ahead of the pack?
We're seeing Dylan Visagi in the second spot.
They are in a good place to mount a good challenge come the first corner.
Our third place starter for today's race is none other than JP Brand.
But they're going to have to be quick out of the blocks if they want to keep up with the top performers.
And in the fourth position, it's none other than Marc Guy.
Big things expected for Marc Guy today.
The lights are off, the gloves are on, and it's go time.
This is where the driver's true abilities will be put to the test. Staying calm and collected while pushing for the lead is the ultimate challenge.
It's brilliant to see such a full grid here today.
All the drivers will be jostling for the best position mark. Some of them may not make it to the second lap in one piece.
The pressure is on whilst the field is bunched. Who can keep their cool and take advantage? There's some intense battling throughout the field as everyone is looking to get off to a good start. Wayne Mitten looks like they have got off to a flying first lap, gaining places straight out of the gate.
It's like Wayne Mitten had an extra helping of determination for breakfast today. But let's see if they can keep up the pace for the whole race.
It's a close race between Sean Weber and Wayne Mitten in 7th.
If Sean Weber isn't careful, they might end up turning this high-speed chase into a synchronized spinning routine. And trust me, that's not a crowd pleaser.
The intensity is off the charts as Ruben Duplessis hounds Melvin Gauss, both drivers pushing themselves to the absolute limit.
A misjudgment by either driver could result in a close encounter of the tire barrier kind, and that's one handshake they'll want to avoid.
This is where the skill and precision of the drivers really comes into play. J.J. Dearden is chasing William Theron in P11. Superb driving from J.J. Dearden, who with that overtake has gained a position in the race.
You can't argue with results like that. J.J. Dearden is really making their mark on this race.
It's a classic case of chasing down the car ahead for William Theron, who is currently in P13. But Chantal de Jager is not making it easy, and the gap remains over a second. This will require some expert driving from William Theron. Mark Guy is running 15th. They are trying to catch Peter Geldenhuys.
Sometimes you have to take risks to win, but pushing the car too hard can be a costly mistake. Mark Guy needs to be careful not to overdo it.
The race is heating up as Dylan Visagie in 2nd closes in on Sean Olivier. The gap is just over a second, and I'm sure they are going to do everything possible to try and close the distance. They're not giving up without a fight. The action is hold up, breaking info. Now I may be wrong here, but I'm not sure that's the racing line. It's like watching two predators circling each other, waiting for the perfect moment to pounce. Looks like Melvin Gauss is really pushing it to the limit. They're taking those curves aggressively, but that can unsettle the car and cause handling issues.
Indeed, taking too much curb can upset the car's balance, leading to oversteer or understeer. It's all about finding the right balance between speed and control.
The action is non-stop as Mark Guy shadows Peter Geldenhuys through every twist and turn, determined to claim 14th.
Can they close up enough for a pass? I don't see it personally.
It's a tale of two drivers right now, with Mark Guy gaining places and Peter Geldenhuys losing them. Things are heating. Hold that thought. Hold the phone. That won't be ideal for Mike Ramsey.
Whoops, Mike Ramsey is going to be kicking themselves.
Look at that. Michelle Rust is hot on the tail of Ernest Heather.
It's all about finding the perfect opportunity. Michelle Rust needs to stay patient and wait for Ernest Heather to make a mistake.
This is what it's all about, folks. Wayne Mitten is in hot pursuit of Melvin Gauss, who's just trying to stay ahead. Hold on to your hats, folks. J.J. Dearden is right on the heels of Ruben Duplessis, and we're in for a wild ride.
This battle between J.J. Dearden and Ruben Duplessis is so intense, you could cut the tension with a knife, or should I say, with a front wing.
The gap between Ruben Duplessis and JJ Dearden is razor thin as they vie for 10th in this nail-biting contest. This is where the race gets really interesting. Michelle Rust is closing in on Ernest Heather. Wow, Melvin Gauss is really pushing hard to catch up to Wayne Mitten. There's blood in the water for 8th place. Great driving from Melvin Gauss, who has just gained a place and moved up to 8th.
Amazing stuff. Focus and precision, what it's all about.
A tough moment for Melvin Gauss, who has just lost a place, dumping them down to 9th.
That's got to hurt. Melvin Gauss will be kicking themselves right now.
It's neck and neck, the closest battle we've seen in a while. Michelle Rust is on a mission, chasing Ernest Heather, who's desperately trying to stay ahead. The adrenaline is pumping as JJ Dearden gets within striking distance of Ruben Duplessis in their race for 10th.
JJ Dearden is so close to Ruben Duplessis that if this were a dance floor, they'd be doing the tango.
This is where legends are made. Which driver will rise to the occasion and claim victory? Looking at the lap times, Ernest Heather is not on pace with Michelle Rust. Can they turn it around? The tension is building as Melvin Gauss trails behind Sean Weber. The gap is slowly but surely decreasing, and the pressure is mounting. Can Sean Weber hold on, or will Melvin Gauss be able to close them down? It's a game of cat and mouse out there, with Wayne Mitten trying to find the perfect opportunity to make a move on Melvin Gauss. The gap is over a second, but every fraction counts. Can Wayne Mitten close in enough to mount a challenge?
It's moments like these that make motorsports so exciting. We're witnessing a battle of skill and strategy between two great drivers, with Wayne Mitten in 9th determined to catch up. But we know Melvin Gauss isn't just going to hand it to them on a plate. Wayne Mitten is going to have to take it. It should be an interesting battle to watch as long as they can close that gap.
The race is really heating up. Ernest Heather is hunting down Michelle Rust with everything they've got. The pursuit is on. Wayne Mitten is closing the gap on Melvin Gauss, determined to claim P8.
Will Wayne Mitten be able to make a move and pass Melvin Gauss?
It looks like Chantal de Jager is pushing hard to catch up to Ruben Duplessis. The gap is over a second, but Chantal de Jager is not giving up just yet. Can they close the distance and make a move on Ruben Duplessis? Every move counts now as Melvin Gauss works to reel in Sean Weber and overtake for P7. Fantastic move from Melvin Gauss, who has just gained a position. Oh my, Melvin Gauss has dropped down to 8th. This is what racing is all about. Two fierce competitors pushing each other to the limit. A great pass for Chantal de Jager as they pick off other drivers and move up the field. Meanwhile, Ruben Duplessis has lost ground. Pushing too hard can lead to mistakes, and we're seeing that now. That car is really unsettled as they push for every last bit of speed. Big gains for Ruben Duplessis as they move up the field, leaving Chantal de Jager behind. Disappointing for Ruben Duplessis, they now find themselves in 12th.
Yes, but there's still plenty of race left. Ruben Duplessis needs to stay calm and focused, and make their move when the time is right.
The gap between JP Brand in 3rd and Dylan Visagie remains over a second, but JP Brand is not letting up. They're pushing hard and looking for any opportunity to close that gap up. Can they pull it back in the remaining 9 minutes?
This is where experience comes into play. Dylan Visagie has been in this position before and knows how to defend their position. But JP Brand is hungry for success and won't give up easily. Will we see a clash of the titans?
It's a game of inches now as Sean Weber tails Melvin Gauss closely, ready to capitalize on any mistake.
As an experienced driver, I can tell you that Sean Weber must be laser focused on Melvin Gauss's every move, looking for the slightest weakness to exploit.
Oh, this is getting intense. JP Brand is just a few car lengths behind Dylan Visagie.
It's a fine line between pushing the car to its limits and losing control. JP Brand is really walking that tightrope.
Sean Weber is pushing really hard, but as we know, pushing too hard can lead to other mistakes, like locking up the brakes or missing a shift. These drivers are walking a tightrope between pushing the limits and making costly errors.
Absolutely, it's all about finding that sweet spot where you're pushing the car to its limits without crossing the line into reckless driving. That's where experience and skill come into play.
It's a battle of wills out there, each driver trying to outsmart and outmaneuver the other. Sean Weber is running 9th. They're trying to catch Wayne Midden.
This is where every inch counts. Sean Weber is pushing hard to close the gap on Wayne Midden. Absolutely, precision and control are key here. Knowing when to push and when to hold back can be the difference between winning and losing.
No room for error here. William Theron is breathing down the neck of Peter Geldenhuys, waiting for the perfect chance to make their move.
This is what separates the good from the great, the ability to stay focused and perform under pressure.
This is where the skill and precision of the drivers really comes into play. Melvin Gauss is chasing Amir Rylands in P6. Looks like Sean Weber is really pushing it to the limit. They're taking those curves aggressively, but that can unsettle the car and cause handling issues.
Indeed, taking too much curb can upset the car's balance, leading to oversteer or understeer. It's all about finding the right balance between speed and control.
Look at that, Melvin Gauss is hot on the tail of Amir Rylands. This is where the race gets really interesting. Sean Weber is closing in on Wayne Midden.
The gap between them is just over 0.4 seconds. Can Sean Weber close that gap and get back in range? I can't see it happening at this point.
Oh my, William Theron has had an incident. Wait, it looks like William Theron has been called into the pits. Sean Weber is on a mission, chasing Wayne Midden, who's desperately trying to stay ahead.
The gap between them is just over 0.3 seconds. Who will have the speed and skill to come out on top?
Things are heating up as Mark Guy tries to close the gap to Ruben Duplessis.
The tension between...
Hold up, breaking info. Looks like that's a mistake from Melvin Gauss. This could be costly. Oh, this is getting intense. Mark Guy is just behind Ruben Duplessis.
The chase between Mark Guy and Ruben Duplessis is like a high-speed game of tag only. The stakes are much higher.
And Mark Guy has just won the place from Ruben Duplessis.
Absolutely. Mark Guy is showing great pace and determination. but they can't get too confident. There are still plenty of challenges ahead.
The battle for 11 is heating up as Ruben Duplessis tries to catch Mark Guy in P11.
Can Ruben Duplessis close the 0.4 second gap and make a pass?
The fans are on the edge of their seats. It doesn't get any closer than this.
If things go wrong between Peter Geldenhuys and Jano van der Westhuizen, they could be exchanging more than just paint, like maybe a strongly worded post-race chat.
This is a thrilling battle as Wayne Mitten edges closer to Sean Weber in their fight for P6. It seems like Wayne Mitten is struggling. They are not able to maintain their pace.
Can Wayne Mitten refocus and start putting in the lap times we know they are capable of?
This is where the skill and experience of the drivers really come into play. JP Brand will need to stay focused and keep pushing, even when the gap seems insurmountable. It's not over until the checkered flag drops. Things are heating up as Sean Weber closes in on Wayne Mitten. The gap between them is down to practically nothing. I don't think that's the fastest way around Tony Rust, normal layout. The tension is high. Who will come out on top in this epic showdown? Sean Weber is not able to keep their pace. Braking development. Ruben Duplessis has pulled into the pits. It's a battle of wills out there, with JP Brand trying to outsmart and outmaneuver Dylan Visagi. The gap is slowly closing, but time is running out. Will we see a dramatic finish to this race? This is what high-octane racing looks like. Wayne Mitten is breathing down the neck of Sean Weber, not giving them any room to relax. Wayne Mitten is trying their best, but can't seem to find the pace to keep up with Sean Weber at the moment.
It's not ideal for Wayne Mitten, but they can still turn this around. They need to focus on their own driving and not let the gap get any bigger.
It's a brilliant day for racing here at Tony Rust, normal layout. I'm really enjoying this.
This race is truly epic. What a treat to be sat here witnessing this spectacle.
We got a close battle as Wayne Mitten closes in on Sean Weber. It looks like Wayne Mitten is making a move. The gap to Sean Weber is now down to 0.1 seconds. A brilliant maneuver from Wayne Mitten, who has just moved up the field. The race is really heating up. Peter Geldenhuys is hunting down Melvin Gauss with everything they've got. A great moment for Peter Geldenhuys, who has just gained a place and moved up the standings. As the race settles down, the drivers are really going at it.
It's like watching a high-speed game of chess. One wrong move and it could be game over. But these drivers are masters of their craft, always thinking 3 steps ahead.
That's right. And with the way they're maneuvering those cars, it's like they have superpowers.
It's almost like they have the power of flight. But instead of flying, they're speeding down the track like rockets.
I wonder if they have any spare rocket boosters for sale. Jano van der Westhuizen wants to close that gap with Melvin Gauss. An impressive showing from Jano van der Westhuizen, who has gained positions and left Melvin Gauss in the dust. Pushing too hard can lead to mistakes, and we're seeing that now. That car is really unsettled as they push for every last bit of speed.
It's a game of strategy now as Melvin Gauss hunts down Jano van der Westhuizen. Yes, it's all about choosing the right moments to push and when to conserve energy, waiting for the perfect opportunity to strike.
Emir Rylands has the pedal to the metal chasing Mark Guy.
There is no room for error in this battle.
The gap between Emir Rylands and Mark Guy is widening. It's now up to 0.7 seconds.
It's not over yet, but Emir Rylands needs to get a move on if they want to catch up to Mark Guy.
The crowd is on tender hooks as Jano van der Westhuizen in 12th chases after Peter Geldenhuys. The gap is just over a second, and you can feel the tension in the air. Can Jano van der Westhuizen find a way to catch up? It seems like Jano van der Westhuizen is struggling. They are not able to maintain their pace.
Can Jano van der Westhuizen refocus and start putting in the lap times we know they are capable of?
It looks like Sean Olivier has found another gear in the last sector of the race.
They're not leaving anything on the table.
It's all over. Sean Olivier has claimed victory in this race with a stunning drive that will be remembered for years to come. Clearly at the top of their game right now.
What a result for Sean Olivier. They'll be absolutely thrilled with that performance, and rightly so. They really put in the work and it's paid off in spades.
Impressive second place finish for Dylan Visagie. Impressive drive from JP Brand to claim the final spot on the podium.
What a drive, well-deserved spot on the podium with that performance.
Taking 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th is Michelle Rust, Ernest Heather, Wayne Midden, and Sean Weber. Coming in 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th we have JJ Dearden, Emir Rylands, Jano van der Westhuizen, and Peter Geldenhuys. Followed by Melvin Gauss, Ruben Duplessis, and Chantal de Jager in 12th, 15th, and 16th. Mike Ramsey claimed 13th. th is William Theron. Annie, the drivers are ready. Let the racing begin?
Yes, Mark, let the racing begin.
Mike Ramsey will have the best seat in the house starting from pole position. Our second place starter, Melvin Gauss, is poised to make a move towards the front. And in third place, we have Peter Geldenhuys,
putting that Volkswagen up into prime position for the race.
Securing the fourth place is Jano van der Westhuizen. Lining up in fifth is Amir Rylands. On the sixth grid slot we have JJ and we have liftoff. The race is now underway. This first sector will test the drivers' skills and their ability to stay focused.
These first moments can set the tone for the rest of the race. It's all about keeping a clear head and making smart decisions.
As the drivers get this race underway, let me give a shout out to the admin team at SRA for making this all possible. Heroes one and all. All the drivers will be trying to take advantage of the pack whilst they're still bunched up.
I'm looking forward to burning some rubber here, Mark.
Out of the traps, and Wayne Midden has already made their mark in this race, Annie gaining places early on. Looks like Mike Ramsey took a page from the Tortoises playbook, but I'm not sure slow and steady wins this race. Peter Geldenhuys could be looking for a way up the inside of Mike Ramsey.
They need to keep it on the black stuff. You don't get points for driving over weeds, not in this game.
It's a thrilling pursuit as JJ Dearden is right behind Sean Olivier, keeping the pressure on for sixth place.
This is the moment where legends are made. These drivers will go down in history as the ones who fought tooth and nail for the top spot.
Oh, this is getting intense. Mark Guy is just a few car lengths behind Ernest Heather. Superb driving from Mark Guy, who with that overtake has gained a position in the race. We often hear drivers complaining about tire graining. Annie, can you explain what that means and how it affects car handling?
Graining occurs when small rubber particles roll up on the tire's surface, reducing grip and negatively affecting handling. It usually happens when the tires are not in their optimal temperature window or when a driver is pushing too hard on a cold or overworked tire.
Every move counts now as Melvin Gauss works to reel in Jano van der Westhuizen and overtake for P1.
The gap is 0.3 seconds now. Melvin Gauss is going to have to work a bit harder to close that gap with Jano van der Westhuizen.
The tension is building as Wayne Midden trails behind Melvin Gauss. The gap is slowly but surely decreasing, and the pressure is mounting. Can Melvin Gauss hold on, or will Wayne Midden be able to close them down? The pursuit is on. Hold up, breaking info. That won't be ideal for Mike Ramsey.
It's a real shame. Until this point in the race, they'd been looking at a decent result.
The action is non-stop as Melvin Gauss shadows Jano van der Westhuizen through every twist and turn, determined to claim first. What a move. Melvin Gauss has moved up to first. This is what it's all about, folks. Jano van der Westhuizen is in hot pursuit of Melvin Gauss, who's just trying to stay ahead.
If this battle ends in tears, it could be like watching a high-speed domino effect, but let's hope they keep it clean and avoid any unplanned games.
Hold on a second. Oh my, Michel Rust has had an incident. This is a disaster for Michel Rust in the Volkswagen upcoming into the pits and isn't going to do much to improve their chances in this race.
Certainly not where they want to be at this stage in the race. This for sure, Mark.
The pressure is on for Jano van der Westhuizen as they try to catch up to Melvin Gauss.
That driver is really pushing the limits. They're riding the curbs and pushing the car to its limits.
It's an intense battle for position as Mark Guy tries to outmaneuver Ernest Heather. This is edge of your seat racing. Look at that, JP Brand is hot on the tail of JJ Dearden. It's a close race between Jano van der Westhuizen and Melvin Gauss in first.
As a former driver, I can tell you there's nothing quite like the adrenaline rush when you're this close to your rival, ready to make your move.
Mark Guy is giving it their all as they chase down Ernest Heather in P6.
I think they are going to take them.
It's like watching two predators circling each other, waiting for the perfect moment to pounce.
It's going to be a close one. JP Brand will have to push hard to create an opportunity.
It's a tale of two drivers right now, with JP Brand gaining places and JJ Dearden losing them. It's neck and neck, the closest battle we've seen in a while. A great pass for JJ Dearden as they pick off other drivers and move up the field. Meanwhile, JP Brand has lost ground.
Absolutely, Mark, but there's still a long way to go in this race, and JJ Dearden can't afford to get complacent. They have to keep driving with intensity and focus.
Wow, JP Brand is really pushing hard to catch up to JJ Dearden. There's blood in the water for 8th place. This is where the race gets really interesting. Melvin Gauss is closing in on Jano van der Westhuizen. Looks like Dylan Visagi is really pushing it to the limit. They're taking those curves aggressively, but that can unsettle the car and cause handling issues.
Indeed, taking too much curb can upset the car's balance, leading to oversteer or understeer. It's all about finding the right balance between speed and control.
The gap between Ernest Heather and Mark Guy is razor thin as they vie for 6th in this nail-biting contest.
If Ernest Heather gets any closer to Mark Guy, they'll need to start sending out wedding invitations.
It's looking good for Ernest Heather, who has gained places and put some distance between themselves and Mark Guy.
Go, 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 that's what we want to see.
The adrenaline is pumping as Mark Guy gets within striking distance of Ernest Heather in their race for 6th.
I remember being in a similar situation during my racing days. Mark Guy must stay focused and wait for the perfect opportunity to overtake.
This is what racing is all about. Two fierce competitors pushing each other to the limit.
With the way Ernest Heather is stalking Mark Guy, you'd think they're trying to figure out what they had for breakfast this morning.
Hold on to your hats, folks. William Theron is right on the heels of Peter Geldenhuys, and we're in for a wild ride.
When I was racing, we had a saying, if you're not living on the edge, you're taking up too much space. William Theron is definitely living on the edge today.
It's a battle of wills out there, each driver trying to outsmart and outmaneuver the other. Melvin Gauss is on a mission, chasing Jano van der Westhuizen, who's desperately trying to stay ahead.
The mental game is just as important here. Melvin Gauss must keep their cool while putting pressure on Jano van der Westhuizen.
It's a classic case of chasing down the car ahead for Dylan Visagi, who is currently in P5. But Wayne Mitten is not making it easy, and the gap remains over a second. This will require some expert driving from Dylan Visagi.
That's right, Dylan Visagi in 5th knows they have to push to the limit if they want to catch up. But Wayne Mitten is no slouch, and they're going to be pushing just as hard. It's a battle of skill and will out there.
Oh, this is getting intense. Ernest Heather is just behind Mark Guy. This is where the skill and precision of the drivers really comes into play. Amir Rylands is chasing JJ Dearden in Stop the Press. Now I may be wrong here, but I'm not sure that's the racing line. It's a tense battle for position between Sean Olivier in 2nd and Melvin Gauss in 3. Sean Olivier is keeping Melvin Gauss at bay with a gap of 0.2 seconds. Melvin Gauss is placed 3rd at the moment. They are hoping to keep their distance ahead of Wayne Mitten, who is 0.3 seconds behind. The pressure is really on for Wayne Mitten in 4th as Dylan Visagi is closing in. This is where experience and skill really count.
This is a tight race and Wayne Mitten is doing a great job of holding them off. It will be interesting to see if Dylan Visagi can make a move.
This is where legends are made. Which driver will rise to the occasion and claim victory?
This is where the mental game comes into play. Who will keep their cool under pressure? Jano van der Westhuizen or Wayne Mitten? It's anyone's race.
The race is really heating up. Dylan Visagi is hunting down Jano van der Westhuizen with everything they've got. It's all eyes on this battle as Sean Olivier in 2nd tries to hold off the challenge of Jano van der Westhuizen.
Absolutely, Sean Olivier is really making that car as wide as possible, not giving Jano van der Westhuizen an inch of space. It's going to take something special for Jano van der Westhuizen to get past him.
It's a game of inches now as Jano van der Westhuizen tails Sean Olivier closely, ready to capitalize on any mistake. This is a thrilling moment in the race, with Wayne Mitten in 4th defending their position with everything they've got. But Dylan Visagi is relentless, and the gap is less than 0.1 seconds. It's anyone's position at this point.
You're right, Wayne Mitten in 4th needs to stay cool under pressure and make every move count. But Dylan Visagi is a fierce competitor, and they won't give up without a fight.
This is what racing is all about, folks. 3 fearless drivers pushing their machines to the absolute limit, inches apart.
Absolutely, Mark. The intent.
Hold up, breaking info. Looks like that's a mistake from Dylan Visagi. This could be costly. Things are heating up as JP Brand closes in on Dylan Visagi. The gap between them is down to practically nothing. And JP Brand has just won the place from Dylan Visagi. The tension is high. Who will come out on top in this epic showdown?
At this rate, Dylan Visagi and JP Brand are so close, they could share a cup of tea and a biscuit.
Big gains for Dylan Visagi as they move up the field, leaving JP Brand behind.
Where there's a will, there's a relative.
The fans are on the edge of their seats. It doesn't get any closer than this.
It's a battle for position as JP Brand tries to make a move on Dylan Visagi. This is what racing is all about.
Fantastic move from JP Brand, who has just gained a position.
Absolutely, JP Brand is really putting on a clinic out there, and they're making it look easy.
Things are heating up as Peter Geldenhuys tries to close the gap to JJ Dearden.
It's all about finding the perfect opportunity. Peter Geldenhuys needs to stay patient and wait for JJ Dearden to make a mistake.
No room for error here. JJ Dearden is breathing down the neck of Peter Geldenhuys, waiting for the perfect chance to make their move. The race is heating up as Chantal de Jager in 14th closes in on Ruben Duplessis. The gap is just over a second, and I'm sure they are going to do everything possible to try and close the distance. They're not giving up without a fight. It's a thrilling pursuit as Jano van der Westhuizen is right behind Sean Olivier, keeping the pressure on for first place.
The slightest mistake from either driver could lead to a meeting with the barriers, and nobody wants an impromptu autograph session with the wall.
The battle for 2 is heating up as Wayne Midden tries to catch Jano van der Westhuizen in P2. Wayne Midden is on a charge. Their split time shows they have upped their pace.
Can Wayne Midden keep it together?
Jano van der Westhuizen seems to be putting the pressure on Sean Olivier.
Rubbing is racing. Let's hope they don't rub it too hard.
The intensity is off the charts as Wayne Midden hounds Jano van der Westhuizen, both drivers pushing themselves to the absolute limit.
If Wayne Midden pushes too hard, they might find themselves exploring the scenic route, and nobody's got time for sightseeing during a race.
It looks like braking alert. I don't think that's the fastest way around Tony Rust, normal layout.
Tony Rust, normal layout is always a test for these drivers, and sometimes that's the way it goes.
Melvin Gauss is pitting. Wayne Midden is running third. They're trying to catch Jano van der Westhuizen. This is what high-octane racing looks like. Jano van der Westhuizen is breathing down the neck of Sean Olivier, not giving them any room to relax. The pursuit is on. Wayne Midden is closing the gap on Jano van der Westhuizen, determined to claim P2. We're watching Jano van der Westhuizen in second, and is currently being hounded by Wayne Midden with a gap of just 0.2 seconds.
This could be where Wayne Midden is gonna dive up the inside. Jano van der Westhuizen is going to need to cover the inside, and that will compromise their exit speed.
Talk about pressure. Jano van der Westhuizen is caught in the middle, feeling the heat from both Wayne Midden and Sean Olivier. While Wayne Midden is not under immediate threat from Jano van der Westhuizen, they still need to stay focused and avoid any errors. Any slip-up could cost them their position. Impressive driving from Wayne Midden, who has managed to extend their lead over Jano van der Westhuizen. They are walking away at this point. Does Jano van der Westhuizen have anything in reserve? The gap between Mark Guy in 4th and Jano van der Westhuizen remains over a second, but Mark Guy is not letting up. They're pushing hard and looking for any opportunity to close that gap up. Can they pull it back in the remaining 1 minute?
It's going to be tough for Mark Guy, as Jano van der Westhuizen seems to have found their rhythm. But anything can happen in racing, and we've seen Mark Guy pull off some impressive moves before. I'm excited to see if they can make it happen again.
It's a game of cat and mouse out there, with Ruben Duplessis trying to find the perfect opportunity to make a move on William Theron. The gap is over a second, but every fraction counts. Can Ruben Duplessis close in enough to mount a challenge? The pressure is on for Mark Guy as they try to catch up to Jano van der Westhuizen.
Don't forget the role of aerodynamics. Mark Guy should use slipstreaming to their advantage and close the gap to Jano van der Westhuizen.
It's a close race between Michel Rust and Ruben Duplessis in 13th.
That's right, Michel Rust is determined to pass Ruben Duplessis and secure a higher position.
It's a tale of two drivers right now, with Michel Rust gaining places and Ruben Duplessis losing them. This is a thrilling battle as Marc Guy edges closer to Jano van der Westhuizen in their fight for P3. The gap between Marc Guy and Jano van der Westhuizen is getting smaller.
He'll be looking for a mistake to pounce on.
Look at that. Emir Rylands is hot on the tail of Dylan Visagie. We got a close battle as William Theron closes in on Michel Rust.
One wrong move and we could see a spectacular new synchronized pirouette performance by William Theron and Michel Rust, though I doubt the judges would give them a perfect score.
Jano van der Westhuizen wants to get into Marc Guy's slipstream.
Do they have the speed for a move, and more importantly, do they have the talent?
Oh, this is getting intense. JP Brand is just a few car lengths behind Ernest Heather.
Sometimes you have to take risks to win, but pushing the car too hard can be a costly mistake. JP Brand needs to be careful not to overdo it.
The crowd is on tender hooks as Emir Rylands in 8th chases after Dylan Visagie. The gap is just over a second, and you can feel the tension in the air. Can Emir Rylands find a way to catch up?
Absolutely. Emir Rylands in 8th will need to be patient and carefully work to reduce that gap without overdriving it, as they can't afford to take unnecessary risks and risk an off or damaging their car. Let's see if they have what it takes to get back into the game here.
Looks like Sean Weber is really pushing it to the limit. They're taking those curbs aggressively, but that can unsettle the car and cause handling issues.
Indeed, taking too much curb can upset the car's balance, leading to oversteer or understeer. It's all about finding the right balance between speed and control.
As we come into the final moments of this epic race, Sean Olivier is in the lead. Can they stay calm and bring home the bacon? And it's a checkered flag for Sean Olivier, who crosses the finish line with a commanding victory. What a phenomenal performance, absolutely dominant today.
What a display of skill and precision.
Some might say that second place is the first loser, but Wayne Midden certainly doesn't see it that way. They put in a phenomenal effort and should be proud of their impressive result. Excellent focus from Jano van der Westhuizen to secure a fantastic third place on the podium. Marc Guy, Ernest Heather, JP Brand, and Dylan Visagie brings home 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th. With Emir Rylands, Peter Geldenhuys, Sean Weber, and JJ Dearden in 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th. 12th, 13th, 14th, and 15th sees Michel Rust, William Theron, Ruben Duplessis, and Mike Ramsey. In 16th, it's Chantal de Jager.